Thank you very much. A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Inspiring Women Awards for 2016. Everybody has an inspiring woman in their life. Mine, I think, as probably every man in this room would say, is their mum. And I got a text from my mum about half an hour ago and she just said, good luck with the Perspiring Women Award. Now, I'd like to think it's a predictive text problem and she doesn't think that I spend the afternoon in a sauna with 250 women. Would you please welcome the founder and organiser, Jacqueline Hughes-Lundy.
Welcome to the 24th Annual Inspiring Women Awards. Early on, these opening remarks were relatively straightforward, but in recent years the pressure has mounted to make them funny, inspiring, or at the very least not dull. So after thanking my sponsors, Deloitte, Manchester Metropolitan University, Arbuthnot Latham, BBC Radio Manchester, Q Hotels, Cheshire Life and Lancashire Life, and thanking my guest award announcers Kirsty Henshaw, Helen Pidd and Edith Conn, and obviously MC Phil Trow, and then thanking everyone who's donated, bought a ticket, helped in any way, shape or form. These are my words of wisdom. Right, okay, last job before the Inspiring Women Awards tomorrow. Write the opening speech. Oh, it was so much easier when I was in a wheelchair. The dictionary definition of inspiring is Lola. Oh, sorry, bit of lipstick there. This isn't working, is it, Loli? Tell you what, change your scene. Come on, let's go somewhere else. Stretch, jump up and down, change of scene. So, okay. Right. No, tea's not going to cut it. Need something stronger. Okay. Gin, need gin. Yes. No. Okay, let's try vodka. Come on, inspire me. All those poets, I wonder if they drank. 24, that's 42 backwards. And why is that significant, Lola? Because I lie about my age. What inspires you, Lola? Lola? Could I speak to Edith Conn, please? I do know what time it is actually, young lady. Wake her up. I need to be inspired, and only Edith can inspire me. I'm not shouting. Well, young lady, inspire this. God, that feels good. Why does everybody think I can be inspiring when I can't be inspiring? I'm not inspiring at all. I'm now just a little drunk. At what point did you think that alcohol was going to make you inspiring, Hughes? Oh. Come on, Hughes. You're an inspiring woman. Actually, I am an inspiring woman. And I love the Inspiring Women Awards. And I work my butt off for this every year for 24 years. And I'm not going to give up now. I have my inspiration. I can do this. I can do this. Inspiration hits. Oh yes. That's a good line. Oh, my head. Oh, laptop. Let's hope the hangover is worth it. Open it and welcome to the 2016. No! It's drunken gibberish! Oh. That was water, I hasten to add. So, ladies and gentlemen, there truly are no words. So please enjoy the awards.
I'm going to just share with you for 5 minutes, I won't keep any longer than that, just a bit about my story. And I've got my heels on, just in case there's anyone from PwC in the audience. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about why I started my business, as this is the business award. I've got a couple of food brands now, Kirsty's and Kids Kitchen. I paid someone about $6,000 to tell me it should be called Kirsty's, but could have got my 10-year-old to work that out for me. So I left school at 16. School wasn't really for me, didn't really enjoy it. I'm from a very working class background. If we wanted anything in life, we had to go and earn it ourselves. So as soon as I left school, I wanted to work, but I didn't want to work for anyone. I was completely unemployable. Still, I was unmarriable, and I'm still. So whoever told me that was right. But anyway, so at 16, I did everything from babysitting to buying and selling on eBay, buying from China and selling again on eBay. And that all went wrong after a big massive scam. It cost me £2,000 that I'd saved up. And at 17, I went into selling these god-awful test tubes around the bars in Preston, where I live. I saw the idea in Manchester and brought it to Preston. I did that for about a year until they realised we were all underage and we got chucked out. And then at 18, I decided I was going to try and make my mum proud and get a qualification. So I got the easiest one I could get and became a massage therapist. But I loved it. And I set up my own little business and I did that for a year. And that all went wrong when I fell pregnant at 19. And then, so I carried on working. I was on my own with my baby. So he was born and completely threw my life upside down, as I'm sure most of you can relate to. And I wanted to carry on working, but I was struggling and still lived at home with my mum and my dad. And I was trying to save up enough money to move out. And this one particular day, I'd gone back to work when he was a couple of months old, and I was working in bars around Preston. And this one particular night, I came home and picked my baby up out of the cot. He was completely nocturnal, so he was always awake. Picked him up and gave him a big kiss and put him back. And within a few seconds, there was something weird happening. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was going on. But his breathing became incredibly shallow, and didn't know what was going on. A rash all over his body. And my mum, who was a nurse, kept him alive until an ambulance came. And in hospital that night, it was told that he was having an anaphylactic shock. And I had eaten some peanuts in the bar where I was working and gone home and kissed him. So it was that night that I realised that the most important thing wasn't making as much money as I could in tips in bars, it was looking after the baby that relied on me. So I decided to change my whole ethos. Instead of it being about making as much money as I could to get out of and get our own house, it was about doing something I was passionate about and that was important. And so I went and studied food allergies and nutrition online. I did lots of little courses, and within a couple of years I was a nutritionist with experience in food allergies. And my son had dairy allergy, gluten allergy, nut allergy, and it was then that I realised that there wasn't many products he could eat. There wasn't much that was shop bought you could buy. And he wanted ice cream, as most children do. So I started making my own in my kitchen. I'd moved out by this point. I had a tiny little rented house and my kitchen was about the size of this tiny bit of stage here. But I was desperately wanting to make products for him. So I made this ice cream and he absolutely loved it. It's all he wanted to eat. And it was made in this little £30 Argos ice cream maker. And my light bulb moment came that this was something he loved, that I believed in, that was completely unique and no one else was doing it at the time. So I thought, I can make a business out of this. And I remember the day, I remember my friends coming around as I was trying to create recipes, and I was in my pyjamas at 3 in the afternoon with rubbish on the ceiling because my blender had exploded, and honestly my friends thought I was completely bonkers. Well, they're probably right, but I was still so passionately trying to make this product work. And then I thought, how can I make this into a business? I'll probably need about 30 of these machines to make enough to sell to a shop. I thought, this isn't going to work. So I went on Google and rung up Environmental Health and Trading Standards. That was an exciting couple of phone calls, I'm sure you can imagine. And they came to visit me at my house. And the first thing they saw was a hamster run across the dining room. And they looked at me and they said, Kirsty, nothing ever is going to leave this house for human consumption. So I kind of knew then that there had to be something more out there, something more for me. So that was how I started the business. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later on in the afternoon. So thank you very much, and I'm going to present you all. This is exciting. Not got my readers on. Okay, so the winner of Best New Business, is Marnie Millard.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted, and for me, I don't have any words unusually, which my colleagues will be astounded at. What a great accolade, and I actually didn't know anything about the event until I was contacted. I don't know who's nominated me, how everybody knows so much about what I've been doing, but I'm absolutely delighted. And I think one of the things that you'll see in the programme is, yes, I'm a mom and a grandma, and I have a 15-month-old grandson, and you never stop juggling life when you've got the children. I guess I'm going to dedicate this today because 10 weeks ago my dad had a really, really massive stroke, quite unexpectedly. He's a fit 78-year-old, always been supportive of me. So whilst it's inspiring women, I'm going to have to say today that my dad's here with me. So I'd just like to leave it on that note. Thank you very much indeed.
Hello. I'm not wearing heels. I gave them up a few years ago, so I will never get a job on the reception at PwC in London, tragically. My name's Helen Pidd. I'm the North of England editor of The Guardian newspaper, the only national newspaper to be founded in Manchester. Used to be the Manchester Guardian, yeah. Woo! Those of you who know your history will know that we were founded in 1821 in the aftermath of the Peterloo massacre, which took place basically outside the hotel when working class people were agitating for the vote. So we've got a very proud Mancunian history, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here today and to see a sort of sea of talented, interesting, creative women. In my industry, journalism, it's been a pretty poor show in some ways this year. Our main journalism awards, only 20% of the nominees this year for the British Press Awards were women. It was very male dominated. So there was like a Splinter Awards to recognise talent in female journalism. So it's particularly refreshing and exciting to be here and hearing all of your stories. I'm the first female North of England editor that The Guardian's had, and last year The Guardian got its first woman editor-in-chief. She's called Catherine Viner, and she's from Yorkshire, and she thinks that the media is too London-centric. Those of you who watch the news and read your newspaper and think, yeah, it's all about London. So it's my job to try and get across all of the fantastic things that are happening in our region. I've basically been a journalist since I was 14. I was an incredibly nosy child. I was one of, even now, if I hear a siren go past, I'm like, what's happened? Yesterday I was going to a party and I was getting an Uber taxi through Moss Side, and there was a road closure and then there was ambulances, and I was like, oh, what's happened? And the great thing about being a journalist is that you can just phone up Greater Manchester Police and you find out. Somebody had got his head kicked in after being run over. So some things never change. So I started my career when I was about 14. I wrote a letter to Radio Lancashire, my local radio station. I grew up in Morecambe on the coast, and looking back at it, it was pretty cheeky. I wrote them a letter to say I don't think your programme's very good. None of my mates listened to it. If you're going to want some listeners from the generation of tomorrow, I could do a better job. And they actually wrote back. They didn't tell me to get in my place. They wrote back and said, all right then, if you think you're that good, come on, bring a couple of mates and you can be our action team. So my mum and dad gave us a lift to Blackburn, and then we made our debut on Radio Lancashire. And our job was a terrible thing when you look back. It was trying to make window dressing radio friendly. So we had to go to Help the Aged charity shop. There's some radio people here, I don't know who thought of this. So we had to go to Help the Aged in Blackburn, and we had to help them make a new window display and somehow make this kind of golden radio. Anyway, we can't have made such a bad job of it because we got invited back, and then for the next year I used to do a little broadcast every Saturday from my bedroom. They gave me a little transmitter, and I got quite addicted to bringing the news to people. And then I started a fanzine, basically so that I could follow my favourite band around Europe and get to ask them nosy questions. And then from then on I went to university, got a degree in German, and then got a job at The Guardian 11 years ago. So I would say to all of you who, I guess if you're here then you're doing something right, but never think that your request or demand is too cheeky, because if you don't ask, you don't get. So I'm delighted to welcome to the stage the winner of the Inspiring Young Woman Award, Jenny Mullinder.
First of all, I just want to say I'm mad at Jacqueline because I found out when I sat down at my table and opened my programme that I'd won this award, and obviously I'm delighted and amazed, but I had no chance to think about what I wanted to say to everyone. But I mean, they did such a great job of putting it all together when they edited my video. Basically the thing that I want to say the most is that every single person in this room has mental health, and every single person should look after their mental health. It's so important. And also, this award is for my mum. And I'm going to stop now because I'm getting really emotional. Thank you so much.
Well, it is a pleasure to be here. I came here last year, thoroughly enjoyed it, and thankfully Jackie asked me to come back again this year. The reason I'm wearing the hat is because I thought I would share with you an incident that happened not too long ago, but actually was quite a long time ago, because I had a different hat on, but more or less in the same role. My role is to help the royals when they come into the City of Manchester or into Greater Manchester. I'm a Vice Lord Lieutenant, and there's a Lord Lieutenant, and there are several deputies, and as Anne has pointed out already today, she's a DL in Cheshire, but we won't talk about that. We had a royal visit some time ago, and we were going to a very well-known youth centre. And the idea is that when a royal comes into the county, you try and show them what the county's all about, about the people, about what makes it work, how it buzzes. And so there are a lot of people who attend. On this particular occasion, there was a group of youngsters, it was a youth academy, there was a group of youngsters, and there were two girls, and these two girls sort of cottoned on to me and came over immediately and said, "Mrs, can I try your hat?" "Well, not really, not now, because I've got a roll here, maybe later." Well, you don't want to take your hat off, or you've got a bad hairdo when you take a hat off, haven't you? And so they stayed with us, and they walked all around, and I thought, they're not going to go away, and she stayed with us. And her friend eventually got a bit fed up with it and said, "Come on, let's go. But one more time, Mrs, can I try your hat?" So her friend said to her, What are you bothering for? Who is she anyway? Well, don't you know, it's the Queen Mother. A true story. It's actually a true story. Can I just say about the, I'm doing this community award. My background, I don't have an official background. I'm not a lawyer. I don't run a business. I'm a community person. I joined the Red Cross in 1978, which is just short than 40 years ago now. And I'm passionate about my charity. And being a Vice Lord Lieutenant gives me the opportunity to go around this county, it's a great county, Greater Manchester and the North West, to see the most unbelievable people doing things on a regular basis, not for any other reason but to do the right thing. And I'm privileged, you know, I'm the privileged person to go around and see all this absolutely wonderful work. I don't know how you're going to choose from the 3 people on this list. I really don't. I can relate very much to Anne Davies, because I also left school when I was 15 years old. I didn't have any qualification whatsoever, but I believed in myself. I educated myself. I did a couple of A-levels, they were A-levels then, and then I went to Manchester Metropolitan University and did a degree in humanities. And that's, you know, it's all about, the community is very important. The community is so important to the lifeblood of Greater Manchester or any city. I think that without all the voluntary organisations and institutions that we have, we wouldn't do what we do. We wouldn't be able to maintain the ambulance services or the police force or anything that happens in the civic duties in the town hall. So credit to every single one of you and to all the very, very inspirational women in this room today. Oh, and I'm very pleased to say, because I do know this lady, I had nothing to do with the judging, I must tell you that. It's Atiya Chowdhury. Well done, Atiya.
Can I just say I'm absolutely delighted and really surprised after hearing the last contribution, actually, the wedding gift charity. I just sat back and I felt that they were the winners because it was such an incredible story, and I think every story that I've heard is so incredible. There's such wonderful people doing such wonderful things, and it's a celebration for everybody. Can I say massive thank you? I kind of know who nominated me, so it's Mike Cribb sitting over there, with who I met only a few years ago, actually, through a project that we're doing on poverty, the Greater Manchester Poverty Action Group. And I'm really grateful to him that he did. And because we work in a community office, nothing is a secret. So within a week, this secret was out. So I kind of knew what was happening. But we are absolutely delighted. It's not very often that somebody from a community network like mine, which is very grassroots, gets to stand up here in a very kind of, I think, corporate world, to be able to say thank you very much for recognising the work that we do. And I've spent at least 15 to 20 years just around trying to support ethnic minority communities and across the city. And we work with a lot of small groups, and there's a huge amount of need in that community, and we have some wonderful businesses like yours around that do support us. Very recently, a business like that gave us about £15,500 worth of children's goods for refugees, and we were absolutely delighted. And it was our network, without any resources and any capacity, that took on that big task. And found friends within the community and within the business community to help us with picking that lot up from Lancashire, storing it in Manchester, and over the months distributing it to refugee families who have babies and children who really needed it. So that's the kind of day-to-day things that I really get involved with. I never know when I get to the office what 10 things I'm going to be landed with, and when I get home I haven't even got to the first list of my action list. So that happens in the evenings. But thank you very, very much. I'm absolutely delighted and honoured.
Hi, right, I've had a couple of glasses of wine, so I'll apologise now. I've just had the best day so far. I didn't know what to expect. Never been here before, and it's probably one of the best, if not the best, award ceremonies I've been to. So I'm really impressed and really enjoyed it. So, just quickly going over my story. I'm going to give you a quick update on what happened next. So I managed to get my ice cream off the ground with a few university vouchers and grants here and there and my £300 savings, and I got it selling through a health food store all around the country, just in little health food shops through a wholesaler. It was going really well and we couldn't keep up the demand. And after a while I realised that this had real potential and it needed to be in somewhere bigger and better. Well, not better, but bigger. And so I thought, well, I live in Preston. Booths is our local supermarket chain. Head office is 2 miles away. I thought I'll go and try them. How hard can that be? So I managed to get a meeting with one of the buyers, and I got my little ice cream freezer for the car and headed to this meeting. And I sat down in front of this, well, what I can only describe as the most miserable Irish man I've ever met in my life. And he took one look at me and just obviously didn't see any potential in me or my product. He said, who cares about healthy ice cream? Who cares about dairy-free, gluten-free? He just didn't get it, and he wouldn't even try it. So I remember walking out all smiley, sat in the car and cried for about 15 minutes. I thought, how am I going to come back from this? So I went home and reflected over a bottle of rosé and thought, how am I going to make this better? I thought, well, he obviously didn't believe in me. He didn't think he looked at me like I was just a cheap sales rep. He didn't see any potential in what I was doing. So, have you ever heard the phrase, fake it till you make it? So, that's exactly what I did. I went back to the drawing boards and I thought, where am I going to go next? So I thought, right, booths aren't interested. How hard can Tesco be? Let's try them. They're only the biggest supermarket in the country. Let's try them. So, this time, what I did was, I went to Debenhams and I bought something. I bought a dress that I would not normally have worn. I was a bit more of a jeans and a vest top kind of Miss Selfridge girl. I bought this really nice dress. I kept the tag in it at the back. And I thought, when I get my meeting, because I will get a meeting, I'm going to wear that. So I kept ringing and I kept trying to get through to speak to the buyers, and they were kind of like receptionist. And I got chatting to a lady called Judith. After the 7th phone call of hearing all about her bunions and her grandchildren, she eventually put me through to the right person, and she said, just don't tell him it came from me. So I was speaking to the buyer and I managed to get a meeting. And so this time I thought, right, I'm going to look far more professional. So obviously I got the dress and I got a document, I got a Word document, and I started writing a business. Not a business plan, a business. So we had Sarah in sales, Lee in finance, Jenny in logistics, Andy in distribution, and we had a business. So it wasn't just me anymore. They all had an email address, which all came back to me. And there was a phone number on there, and the odd time my 4-year-old answered the phone and we had to try and bypass that. So I had what I felt was a business. And I drove down to Cheshunt in London and presented this business and my products, and they absolutely loved it, and they really saw a gap for it in their supermarkets. So I was completely shocked by that, wasn't expecting that. And they said, but do you have the money and do you have the capabilities to make this within 3 months' time for 500 stores? So obviously I said I'd get Jenny in logistics to sort that out, and we'd be fine, yeah. And they were like, brilliant. So pretty much got a deal there and then. So I walked out of the meeting room and went and sat in the cafe and cried into a cappuccino for about another 15 minutes. If I had £1 for every tear I'd cried over business, I would be very, very rich. So I thought, how the hell am I going to do this? My business was turning over about £2,000 a month at this point. In that, profit was probably about a £5, if that. We weren't making any money. I just didn't know how to take it to the next level. So I went to see my bank. I'm not going to go into that, just in case anyone from RBS is in here, but the computer said no. And that was that. So it was that very night that I logged onto my laptop that was sellotaped together and went on to the Dragon's Den website. And I thought, I'll give that a go. How hard can that be? We'll just fake that till we make that and see how that goes. And I did the application, and literally within about a week, I'd heard from the producers. And if I had a lot longer, I'd tell you about all the process. But and the day arrived, and it was in Buckinghamshire in the old James Bond studios. It was really cool. And I presented in front of all these dragons, absolutely petrified. I was completely speechless, but I managed to get this picture out. It was actually voted the best ever picture on Dragon's Den, which is unbelievable. I didn't even have a guitar to impress it. But the one thing I wasn't prepared for, I was prepared for everything because I did everything myself, which I'm sure a lot of you ladies in here will appreciate. When you do your business all by yourself, you know exactly everything that's happening. So every single question they asked me, I knew. The only thing I wasn't prepared for was when they were really, really bloody nice to me. And I just cried. And you only see me cry for about a minute, but I cried for a good 15 again. Until one point, Theo came up and gave me a big hug and said, please stop crying. You're going to get investment and we all want to go home. So I managed to pull myself together and get through the pitch. And I got investment off Peter Jones and Duncan Bannatyne. Those are the two that I wanted. And I worked with them for 3 years until my current business partner bought them out. And our brand is selling about £6 million worth of ready meals a year at the moment. They're really healthy ready meals, a bit like what Jane does, but for adults. And yeah, the business is growing, but there are some days where I just do not want to get out of bed. I just want to cry, and so I do, and then I get up and face the music. But yeah, I just want to say everyone in here is obviously here for a reason, and it's such a great, really great awards event, and I've really enjoyed myself, so thank you. And I must say, my best friend does have that Christmas dress. She wore it last year. Okay, and the winner is, and I do know this person, but I had nothing to do with the judges, it's Jane Hines.
And the first thing I can say is my husband's going to kill me because I've never been nominated or won anything before, and I said to him, don't bother coming because I won't win. So yeah, I'd just like to say thank you to Jacqueline because I've been coming to this event for 4 years and it's absolutely amazing. I go to other events always as a +1, and there's just nothing like this. The stories of all the inspirational people in this room is amazing. So thank you so much, and thank you very much. I'm really shocked.
So the winner of this award are Estelle, Jennifer and Myra. Just very briefly, as we've probably alluded to, this was never really about us. This was about telling our stories to actually get people to understand across the conurbation of Greater Manchester really that police officers are normal, and actually we don't get that much good press in Greater Manchester. But I can tell you now there's police officers out there every single day who are doing an exceptional job. And the ones that you hear about in the press are the ones who got it wrong. The vast majority of them are doing a job like us three every single day. So that, my little award is for them. Thank you.